Dick Morris.
This race is too close for comfort.
Wait, what show are we talking? What are people listening to?
I'm sorry.
The Doug DePiro.
Yeah, this is the Doug DePiro show
with Dick Morris.
Sponsored by the Patriot Gold Group.
And by the way, you know when they say, "Oh, it's Sunday, it's for Dick Morris," that means Dick Morris has to wake up early for once in his life. You got to see the way this guy sleeps. He could sleep all day. This is his brain.
So, like I was saying, this race is too close for comfort. We have John McLaughlin on, the world's greatest pollster. Are you on, John?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that intro, but I do the best I can.
Yeah. You do pretty
but it's
damn
high
good.
praise coming from you after polling for decades, and we've worked together since 1990 when you helped out Senator Helms in North Carolina.
Jesse
Wow,
Helms,
that's a long time, John.
Yeah.
It's a funny story.
Hi, John.
About that.
How you doing?
Hello, Doug.
Doug and I were working for Jesse Helms, and
John and I.
Yeah. And Doug came up with something where John came up with something where he spoke. He said, "Helms is for mandatory gay rights." And I said, "What the hell is that?" And he said, "I don't know, but it sounds bad." So we polled it and we used it.
It was actually government regulation. It was like, but in the meantime, coming back to the 21st century,
right? So this race is way too close for comfort. When you look at the electoral map, there are supposedly 7 swing states. I think he can basically cross off Georgia and Arizona.
Why, we're gaining?
Because we basically won those. We've gone from tied to 5 ahead in one, and from 4 behind to 4 ahead in the other. And then you're left with the others. But what is intractable about it is there is no progress and no shift and no momentum, not even a breath of wind on the ocean.
Like we're frozen in time type of thing?
Which we're frozen. We're stranded in Michigan and in Pennsylvania. The last polling in Pennsylvania, 3 of them in a row, different companies, showed 48 to 48.
But like I said yesterday to you, Dick, I think people just, so much is going on, and the people that are going to move are just not listening right now because there's so much happening. Soon it's going to change.
I wish that was true, and we don't know. But we need a breakout. What do you think, John?
I would agree, but, like you and I have talked about, for us who've been, you introduced me to Trump in 2011, and we polled for him in 2016 and 2020. We're in a lot better position in the national polls and the battleground state polls today than we were in 2016 when they were predicting a Hillary lock, and in 2020 the Biden blue wave. Now, the difference is, I'm the family failure, but I come from a family full of athletes, and Trump loves to play golf. So this is when you're coming down like the final holes of the golf tournament, and you got to have your poise to be able to, just make the shots and make the putts. And he's been there before, and he's stepping up his game. The last couple of weeks he's had great weeks, and he's been doing the rallies. He's out hustling Kamala Harris. They're hiding her. And as you said, we're grinding up in the battleground states in these polls where we are competitive. She's outspending us nationally, but where we're competitive in spending with the with the Harris campaign, the Democrat super PACs, is in these battleground states. And you're right, we've grinded up to be ahead in Arizona. We're dead even in Pennsylvania. We're ahead in North Carolina, ahead in Georgia, and Michigan and Wisconsin are like toss-ups. And I think, by the way, the one that I think is going to really create a blow to them because they need the electoral votes. Because right now, when you look at, if Trump wins Nevada, and the one that would be a blow would be Nevada. Nevada would be 6 points, and if he wins Pennsylvania, we're 287 in the electoral votes. We only need 270.
It's over. The way to understand the Electoral College is that if you give Trump Arizona and Georgia and North Carolina and everything else that he won, he's 22 electoral votes shy. and you have 10 in Pennsylvania. You have
19 in Pennsylvania.
19 in Pennsylvania, something like 16 in Michigan, and 6
15.
in Nevada. And so winning any one of those states really does it.
Yes.
But we have to win in the North. We've wrapped up, I think, Arizona and Arizona and
Georgia and North Carolina.
Yeah. Right. And we need to go on and attack what are called the Blue Wall states.
Right.
Well,
even Minnesota. I think Minnesota's in play.
Yeah, we could. We could.
Yeah, I mean, if Tim Walz has a bad debate against J.D. Vance, because Minnesota, they had the riots and they had Ilhan Omar.
That's the problem. Here's my solution. Consumer confidence in September suffered the worst decline in more than 3 years, dragged down by a weaker labor market and rising pessimism about future business conditions and incomes. The Conference Board on Tuesday said its index of U.S. consumer confidence fell to 98.7 in January from 105.6, near the lowest of the range of the index over the past 2 years. Increasingly pessimistic expectations for the economy's performance in the month ahead and a weaker labor market drove September's confidence decline. The Present Situation Index, which is based on consumer views of current business and labor market conditions, declined sharply, falling 10.3 points to 124.3. The Expectations Index, which gauges the short-term outlook for income, business, and labor market conditions, fell 4.6 points to 81.7, closing in on the 80 mark that usually signals an approaching recession. And the reason that's dropping, obviously, is that Election Day is nearing, and it's becoming increasingly possible, although not likely, that Harris becomes the president.
Oh, my God.
And the markets are reacting to that. And I think Trump should get out there and say that based on these data, the Harris recession is upon us.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, our friend Steve Forbes, who's one of the leading economic forecasters in the country, he said that if she gets elected, it won't be a recession. It'll be a depression if her policies go into effect. Yeah, when Steve Forbes says that, that's like severe.
Yeah, so, and I think that I think that people are ready to buy that. I think they understand it. Your polling shows that. How many people think we're in a recession now?
Oh, it's half. Almost half the voters think we're in a recession now.
Right now.
And it's inflation's driven because you got 84% saying they've been negatively impacted by inflation, 50% to the point that they can't, afford basic necessities. But this will be a massive tax increase. If she lets the Trump tax cuts expire, that's a $5 trillion tax increase, raising taxes on 91% of all Americans.
Wow!
And I think that we should latch on to the consumer confidence drop, and say that this proves that if Harris is elected, we're in for it, because confidence is what causes recessions, a lack of confidence.
Sure.
And here you have this happening already. I recall that when Harris was nominated, there was a drop in consumer confidence. And I think that this now is a dramatic drop, and that we should base our campaign in the remaining 4 weeks on this.
I know it's early. It was early, but when Trump started to beat Biden, it went up a little bit. I know it was a little early, and the confidence went up in the stocks.
I mean, the markets are convinced Trump's going to win, and as it becomes possible that he doesn't, which we
what are they hedging themselves a little, maybe?
Well, yeah, and it's the market experts hedge themselves. The consumers run for cover.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they save their money to try and assure.
Yeah.
They have to decide what they're going to spend their money on.
That's
Heat, food, this, a couple different things.
That's right.